Moltes gràcies. Passem, doncs, ara a la conferència inaugural de la jornada d'avui, a càrrec del senyor Francisco Joaquín Gaztelu, a qui dono la benvinguda, director de la Direcció General per l'Orient Mitjà, el Nord d'Àfrica i el Golf de la Comissió Europea, i que ens parlarà justament de la implementació del Pacte per la Mediterrània, del primer pla d'acció i de les seves iniciatives clau. Joaquín, cuando quieras.
Buenos días, buen día. Thank you, Mr. Councillor, for the invitation and for the introduction. So I will do my speech in English because I think this is maybe lingua franca, maybe around this table as well. Today, my Catalan is not good enough. I mean, I've been actually spending our holidays. I'm here in a holiday today, in one of my holidays day. But I really wanted to be here. I wanted really to take the opportunity for being with you because I think this table represents very, very well, I think, in my view, the kind of necessary get-together, the necessary as well, bringing together forces of the Mediterranean, in my case, to really bring forward the Pact for the Mediterranean. And this is actually the reason I came here. I think we are now, in my view, a very important point in the Mediterranean Pact. As you know, we adopted it, adopted it last year in October, was endorsed by the different representatives of the partner countries, of the countries around the Mediterranean, as well at the end of last year. We presented the first action plan, which is bringing forward already 21 actions of the 100 actions of the action plan. Our main focus, our obsession, so to say, was to really make everybody see that the Pact was already in motion. That was the first step, and I think, therefore, the launching of the Pact can be considered a very clear success. But this is really the first step, and I would not say even it is the most important step. It's just the first one. And now what we're trying to do is to gear up to a situation where all the allies of the Pact, everybody that can and wants to commit to the Pact, to its implementation, gets activated. And then I will get a little bit more into this today. So today actually is really about bringing this political and strategic dimension to the Pact. I think yesterday you spent some time working on the territorial aspects and operational aspects of the Pact. This is very important because the Pact is eminently and mainly operational. But of course the political and strategic dimension and vision of it is also a very, very important element. I mean, hopefully today, during the different discussions of this roundtable, we'll connect the political priorities with ongoing institutional processes, cooperation networks, and regional stakeholders. And this is what we need to really bring together to make of the Pact and of the Mediterranean a success, to really bring together the institutions and the work of the institutions at different levels, processes, networks, and the stakeholders at every single level. And of course, I was listening to Mrs. Materpuy today, and then we have had discussions in the Committee of Region in different settings in the recent months. We have, of course, not yet, I think, articulated the level of governance at regional, local, municipal level with the institutional level at the EU. But this is certainly a priority now for the weeks and months to come. And I think here, precisely around the table, are all the actors that can actually bring the articulation of all these different governance levels in one. The actions, I also want to make clear that the actions of the action plan are already in motion. For us, it was also very important not only send and launch the action plan and adopt it, but also already to start with some initiatives. We have the Social Entrepreneurship Fund, which has been already launched, and I think this is extremely important for the region. This is about supporting innovative startups, but also social entrepreneurs in the region. Already has quite an important financial allocation, but this is something we really need to increase in the future. We also launched what we call the TMED initiative, which is about renewable energies and support to hydrogen and the clean tech manufacturing base in the Mediterranean. We started already with one project, the expansion of the electricity grid in Egypt. We'll continue with 3 more projects in the next weeks in Tunisia, Morocco, and Egypt again. This, of course, brings together or brings the participation of the private sector, of the European private sector, and the Mediterranean, Southern Mediterranean countries' private sector, just to illustrate that the pact is already in motion and the actions already been launched and there are some actions being implemented. But today's discussion for us is more about bringing influence and direction to the pact. The pact, as you know, is a living process. It's going to evolve. And I think the question we should ask ourselves today is how can we here, the people around this table, can shape the evolution of the pact? And each of us, I think, in this table, from our different perspectives, we have a very important role to play. It will depend very much on us how the pact is going to develop over the next months. I think member states of the European Union are already fully on board. Our partner countries in the south are already somehow on board, but not completely. There's a lot of work still to be done from their side and from our side on this. But as I said, that all the different levels of the pact are not yet fully in motion. And I think this is what we need to do. We have received proposals from many stakeholders around the table today, which have been assessed now. We have received proposals by member states and the Southern Mediterranean partners, and we need to ensure now coherence and complementarity among all these actions. As you know, there have been 2 working groups that have been already launched, one on culture and the other one is on skills, and very recently is going to be another one on security matters, which are of course very sensitive. But as I said, what we need today is geopolitical vision. So we need to understand really the priorities of all stakeholders around the table, and I think this is going to be a process, as we always say, of co-creation, co-design. So every single institution representing this table has to bring its vision forward. It has to be, we have to find together how to integrate it in the pact. We need to know how you see the pact contributing to, in general, stability, prosperity and resilience across the Mediterranean. I have received a detailed report of discussions yesterday, and I know you were discussing already about a few elements such as water, crisis preparedness, and territoriality. On water resilience, we can say that we fully share the views that were presented yesterday, as well in the Committee of Regions, I think, in the previous month. We understand, of course, the Mediterranean, we see it, and we suffer it as well, is a climate hotspot. And I think your activity on water resilience and Water Resilience Alliance is exactly the kind of political commitment that the pact needs. On crisis preparedness, as you know, we launched the firefighting hub in the Center of Excellence of Preparedness and Resilience as well last month. We have already invested about 10 million euros in all of these activities. I mean, each of the activities I have mentioned to you had already a financial allocation, but of course it's an initial financial allocation. Much more is needed. Much more in terms of support to these actions is needed from all partners around the table. On youth empowerment as well, a top priority for us. I don't need to get into the details, but you know, also at the end of the year we launched the youth guarantee schemes in Morocco and Tunisia, but all of these activities need to be scaled up and replicated in every single country of the region. We'll also be very soon launching the Youth Parliamentary Assembly that will be very complementary to the activities that the UFM, Union for the Mediterranean, has already in all these actions. The pact as well, without the UFM, cannot be understood. So clearly the UFM is going to be, the Union for the Mediterranean is going to be a main actor implementing the pact as well. I'm very happy to be here, accompanied by the ambassador who will be leading these efforts in the next months. For us, this complementarity with the UFM is key, politically, institutionally, as well as operationally. So we also understand that funding in general remains a concern, not only for many local and regional authorities, also for us, for the Commission, because we are at the end of the current multi-annual financial framework, as you know. Hopefully very soon, in 2028, we'll have the new financial framework in place. But this means that we have one year without, so to say, new and fresh financing. So we have to do with what we had already in our arcs before. And this is what we're trying to do, to make of the pact a top priority in trying to reshift the current financial funding, the current financial allocations, to really support the activities of the Pact. But this gives us a very small margin of action, and this allows us to invest in starting the actions, but not really in ensuring their sustainability and continuity. This will only be possible really in the context of the next multi-annual financial framework, which is basically how the Commission and the European Union organizes its budget over the next 7 years. I would like today then to acknowledge the vital role of networks and institutions such as the Conference of Peripheral Maritime Regions. ARLEM have been working with CIVEX, MedCities and many others. We have started our cooperation in the context of the Pact with them, but of course this needs to be strengthened very, very substantially. You are the bridges that connect the local to the regional and the regional to the Euro-Mediterranean level. And all these levels, as I said, need to be interconnected. The idea, I think you discussed yesterday, of a manifesto on territorial diplomacy, in our view, is a powerful political statement. It signals that the regions and cities are not just implementers of EU policies, which will be, of course, a very important role, but they are also active shapers of Europe's external action, and in this case, in the Mediterranean. As I said, we're at a very strategic moment today. The first action plan is being implemented. The second one, remember, we will have one every 6 months, will be adopted in October. We'll have our ministerial meeting as well this year. We'll have as well the UFM forum, I think, also this year. So all of this has to give the definitive impulse, to the Pact. And all of this has to be articulated clearly with the role that, in this case, regional autonomous governments, so local governments and municipalities need to play. And that's the reason I'm really here today, Mr. Councillor, really to make sure and to underline that for us in the Commission, for us in the European Union, it's extremely, extremely important that all the levels of governance are fully interlinked and fully committed to implementing the Pact. We have been working, I think, with the Catalonian government. We have been working as well with the other governments, local governments and regional governments. We have been working with ARLEM, we have been working with the Committee of Regions. But we're still very much at the beginning of this. We are waiting for your proposals, to be honest, because I think you are best placed to do that. We have received already some proposals, for example, by the Catalan government, and my objective now is to try to bring several pioneering governments of the region, south and north, Italy, Greece, Portugal, Netherlands, many others, France. I'm super privileged to be here with the President of the Corsican Assembly, who I think it is really taking again a very leading role, very committed role, very demanding role as well sometimes, which I think is extremely good. And all of this needs now to be in the next 3 to 4 months brought together so that we can actually give a definitive political impulse to the Pact at all levels. Our Commissioner, Commissioner Switzer, and I can say this really without any doubt, is really, remember, she's always very proud of being the mayor, or the former mayor of Dubrovnik. And she really takes to her heart a couple of things, and really the articulation with the regional governments, local governments, the importance of the youth in implementing the Pact, the importance of the academic level, the universities. That's why she was very keen. She's very keen on launching the Med University. The importance of making sure that everybody can benefit financially from the Pact, but also contribute financially to the Pact is super important for her as well. But as I said, as a former mayor of a city as important as Mediterranean, as Italian, as Venetian, as Greek, as I said, Mediterranean, as Dubrovnik, is very, very close to her heart. And she really wants to also convey this message. And I think now, over the next, as I said, 3 to 6 months, it really incomes to us, which pertains to all of us here around the table, to make sure that we really make of the Mediterranean Pact something that will be there for the next decades to go, and will actually transform this region, which, as we know, it is in very turbulent times. But also at the same time, I think you Mediterraneans, you have certainly the innovative capacity, the creativity, all the tools, instruments, all the commitment, the understanding of the region to make of this region move from a turbulent region to extremely prosperous and cradle again of civilization and prosperity in the world. And this is really my belief, and I'm there to really, as representing the Commission, to support you in this endeavor. So hopefully today, as a consequence of yesterday as well, we can really move ahead together. Thank you.
Muchas gracias, Francisco. Bien, tenim encara una mica de temps fins a les 10, que és l'hora de començament de la taula rodona. Podem fer-ho ara mateix, evidentment, però si hi ha alguna persona que voldria fer alguna pregunta o algun comentari al senyor Gaztelu, penso que és una molt bona oportunitat y, per tant, con tu permiso, abro un pequeño turno por si hay alguna persona que quisiera comentar la intervención o fundamentalmente hacer alguna pregunta al respecto. Anyone who would like to take the floor for a question to Mr. Gaztelu, you are invited to do so. Yes, please.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Director. A month ago, at the hearing of the Arlem, I think President Nanette was there too, and some of you were there too. The European Commission, you personally, your head of unit, took the pledge, and you referred now in your speech, but took the pledge to involve and include the representatives of local and regional authorities in the governance of the Pact, of the implementation of the Pact. To this end, I'd like to ask you whether you have considered internally, within the European Commission, within the DG MENA, how this should be articulated ultimately and eventually. Thank you.
Firstly, as well, because at the beginning of my speech, I had something like to thank the government of Catalonia, obviously, I think I did, and also to thank the European Institute for the Mediterranean, that I think Roger as well represents. I didn't say that, but of course, it goes without saying. No, we don't have, I think, a clear mechanism or clear picture how to articulate the regional local level. And to be honest, we are waiting for proposals from your side, from the side of the regional local government. And I'm not saying with this that I'm passing the ball on to them. It's not that I'm saying, okay, it belongs to you now and we're waiting and sitting down. No, I think they are thinking about this. I think there is a clear work ongoing already between the different networks and regions, committed regions existing now. And we're really waiting for this articulation to come a little bit from that level. So what I can say is that the way I see it clearly is that the regional and local level has to be part of the current governance system that we have established, which is still very limited, it's very EU-centric, so to say. You know, we have the ministerial meetings. We have also the senior officials meetings taking place twice a year. I think it will be very important that they are ex-ante meetings or back-to-back meetings of the regional level to these meetings, and there is a clear input given, institutional input given by the regional level and the local governance level to these meetings. We are also considering, I think is something that we are committed to as well, having representatives of the regional level in the senior officials meeting. This is another consideration we are having, and we are open to it in the European Commission. We also want, this level to be represented as well in somehow connected to the ministerial level. So these are our current ideas. The government of Catalonia has presented, if I may say that, I think, so Agustín, I think, has been working a lot on this, a mechanism how to really make operational, I would say, but I think you can explain it better, but make operational as well the contributions, the operational contributions of the regions, to the Pact. We have embraced this proposal. I have to say I have even asked for a financial allocation for this proposal. I'm trying to propose as well to bring it together with other pioneers, I think, in implementing the Pact at the regional level. So I was talking as well to the Naples municipality, which expressed interest as well, but many others, and as well with the Arlem network. So all of this has to be brought together. I think you are best positioned to tell us how to do it. Some ideas have been already floated, and we're really very open. What I'm saying that is not, I usually go around giving speeches, I always say goodwill speeches around, saying, I want you to feel good and to help with the Pact. But if I'm here today, I took off my shorts to come here, is really because this meeting and the efforts of the Catalonian government, the President of the Corsican Assembly, and all the other actors, by the way, the President as well of ASCAME, who have been interacting with us lately, are really the ones I see most committed to bring all the different levels of governance together. And for me, it is very clear that if the pact remains action plans, a paper prepared by the Commission, discussed in Brussels, as it could very well be the risk if we don't do the necessary work, if it remains something like this, it will exist. It will be considered a success for the next 3-4 years. Even my commissioner might actually leave her mandate and be happy about this, but will not fulfill the role, or will not exploit the full potential of what we have in our hands. And it's the first time after 25 years working on these things that we are proposing a pact. We are not proposing an agenda, a policy, even a partnership. We are proposing a pact. And this is what should make the difference, that we all feel together in working and implementing it. And for this to really work, with the private sector, of course, very important, but in particular with the local, regional municipalities and regional government is essential. Otherwise, this will remain a simple paper, one more communication of the Commission, one more bureaucratic exercise in Brussels, in my view. Thank you.
Muchas gracias. Creo que hay otra pregunta por parte de Murcia.
Sí, hola, buenos días. Soy María Cruz Ferreira, la directora general de Unión Europea de la región de Murcia. Bueno, ante todo, muchas gracias a la Generalitat por la organización, de corazón, muy bien organizado. Al director general, ya lamento yo que haya interrumpido sus vacaciones por estar aquí, nos lo ha dicho 3 veces, ya lo hemos entendido. Los demás venimos trabajando con mucho esfuerzo y con infrafinanciación regional, pero bueno, hacemos lo que podemos. Yo quería preguntarle 3 cosas, pero tengo que ser muy rápida. 1, la gobernanza eficaz se basa en datos, no en intuiciones, y aquí en este foro desde ayer yo veo que se habla muchísimo de la sociedad civil, de las redes asociativas, pero los gestores regionales, en este caso yo soy regional, pero también está en ayuntamiento, los gestores locales, Murcia es la 7ª ciudad más grande de España y la 14 más grande de Europa. Nosotros a menudo operamos a ciegas, porque respecto a lo que se está haciendo en la otra orilla del Mediterráneo no lo sabemos, pero es que ni sabemos lo que se está haciendo en la orilla de nuestro Mediterráneo de Unión Europea. ¿Qué se está ejecutando realmente al otro lado del marco regional? No lo sabemos. Yo no sé si ustedes, como Dirección General, tienen un mapeo real, público, transparente, de cuántas asociaciones, de cuántos recursos se están interviniendo de manera efectiva sobre el terreno del Mediterráneo. Yo llevo más de 20 años, digo, en gestión de medioambiental. Hace poco que he llegado a esta Dirección General de Unión Europea, pero yo, con todo el respeto, ustedes son muy inteligentes, muy listos, pero le falta pisar el terreno. Le falta una infraestructura de gestión brutal para que de verdad el terreno del Mediterráneo de alguna manera avance, porque aquí hablamos de gobernanza compartida, pero ¿cómo podemos hablar sin una ventanilla única de datos? Es un tema que yo no acabo de entender. Después habla usted del nuevo Pacto por el Mediterráneo, que yo estoy interesadísima, que el señor de la Unión Mediterráneo que se va, pero que también usted, cuando pueda, invitados a venir al sur del sur. Insistimos en la resiliencia climática. Yo también quería hacer hoy hincapié, no vamos a hacer un aplauso ni un minuto de silencio, yo no estoy organizando el evento, de la gente que se ha muerto esta noche en el incendio en Andalucía, son mis vecinos de Puerta, por un incendio forestal. Yo creo que es la noticia más terrible de los que están gestionando incendios forestales en los últimos años. Pero bueno, volviendo a la resiliencia climática y la biodiversidad, a realidad de pie de calle es que el sector primario europeo y los gestores de la orilla norte, digamos, de este Mediterráneo, pero que nosotros somos el sur de este norte, ¿no?, tenemos una asfixia regulatoria y burocrática sin precedentes de la Unión Europea. Entonces yo digo, ¿qué medidas concretas completa, o contempla usted como director general para garantizar de alguna manera que los fondos de cooperación mediterránea financien esta simplificación administrativa? Porque yo cuando veo que vamos a hacer toda esta viabilidad desde Unión Europea económica de quienes gestionan el territorio en lugar de quedarse en la capa teórica de consultorías, diagnósticos y foros de debate, yo no necesito más estrategias de 300 páginas, yo necesito ejecución. Y hablar de gobernanza, quiero hablar también de coherencia de las políticas de la Unión Europea. Entonces, desde el punto de vista que aquí se habla mucho, ¿no?, ambiental, sostenibilidad, agrícola, nosotros, yo que gestiono territorio, ¿vale?, no soy de una asociación, gestiono territorio, exigimos estos estándares de alguna vez de sostenibilidad de alguna manera, que son altísimos, que son muy costosos a nuestros productores. Sin embargo, veo acuerdos de vecindad e importación, y hablo de la orilla sur, que no siempre reflejan pues esta misma reciprocidad, ¿no? la reciprocidad regulatoria. Entonces tampoco yo sé si desde su Dirección General o desde la Comisión Europea cómo se está coordinando la política de cooperación mediterránea con la política, por ejemplo, comercial de la Unión Europea para evitar pues este dumping ecológico, que al fin y al cabo es un dumping ecológico, y asegurar una competencia justa en el arco del Mediterráneo. Yo no vengo a meter el dedo en la llaga de otros miles de problemas que tenemos de inmigración que recibimos.
Por favor, vaya acabando, bueno, porque si no, no va a haber tiempo para la respuesta.
Por eso digo, el resto de preguntas en otro momento, pero esta, si usted es tan amable, muchísimas gracias.
No sé si los intérpretes han sobrevivido, pero en todo caso le paso la palabra al señor Gaztelu.
Exactamente, eso, sí, así habían sido tantas preguntas, yo creo que en una, la verdad es que son muchos puntos que ha sublevado, perdón, que ha presentado, así que si quiere usted que hablemos 5 minutos también, si tiene tiempo luego, pues por supuesto con mucho gusto. Bueno, perdón, si ha sonado malo de las vacaciones, perdón, o sea, quería decir simplemente que bueno, uno de mis 10 días de vacaciones de este año, pues que lo paso aquí precisamente con mucho gusto, y al revés. Por supuesto, yo considero un privilegio para mí estar aquí, eso también quería subrayarlo, por supuesto. Bueno, muchos temas ha comentado usted. Primero, lo del terreno, efectivamente, pues es un poco mi llamamiento, ¿no? Es de ayudarnos a acercarnos al terreno, ayudarnos, por favor, a estar al nivel local, municipal y regional. Es un poco mi llamamiento, mi petición y mi disposición, o sea, lo que es lo que queremos hacer. Y desde luego ahí no va a tener nunca, yo creo que un aliado más fuerte que nosotros en la Dirección General del Mediterráneo, MENA, para trabajar con el nivel local y regional, y lo decimos muy honestamente. Es decir, me habla también de ventanilla única de datos y cómo, digamos, creo que simplificar el acceso a la información, digamos, de la zona del terreno, digamos, a la Unión Europea. Pues efectivamente, estamos trabajando en ese tema, sabemos que es un problema, sabemos que es una situación que hay que mejorar. Tenemos una página web sobre este tema, estamos intentando ilustrar los ejemplos de acciones. Como he dicho, el pacto es fundamentalmente, no es estratégico, es fundamentalmente operacional. Está basado en una lista de acciones, incluidas en temas de biodiversidad, promoción agrícola, temas de medio ambiente y temas del nexo precisamente de la biodiversidad, producción agrícola, sector privado e inversión. Todo esto está reflejado en el pacto y va a ser un poco desgranado ahora durante los próximos meses en acciones más específicas. Pero, de nuevo, siempre digo, no esperen tampoco ustedes que nosotros lo demos todo. Lo que también esperamos de su parte es que contribuyan al pacto con sus propias iniciativas, su propia interpretación y entendimiento de las iniciativas, y también con su propia contribución en temas de recursos me refiero no solamente financieros, también humanos, ¿no? Hablaba también usted, yo creo que sobre todo es un elemento de ejecución, por eso tenemos planes de acción, lo queremos ejecutar, porque vemos que el déficit fundamental en el Mediterráneo no es tanto de perspectiva política como es de ejecución, y demostrar que el Mediterráneo también puede deliver, como decimos en inglés, también puede ejecutar y ofrecer resultados. La carga administrativa. Ya sabe que hay un compromiso bastante fuerte de la Comisión Europea para reducir la carga administrativa. Siempre hay una tensión, digamos, y una especie de reconciliación a hacer entre la legislación y los reglamentos y lo operacional y el ejecutar las cosas, ¿no? Y eso, o sea, llegar al punto exacto y el punto, digamos, virtuoso en este contexto, yo creo que el consejero lo sabe mejor que yo, no es fácil. En la Unión Europea trabajamos a muchos niveles, a nivel europeo, a nivel nacional, a nivel regional, a nivel local. Todos estos sistemas tienen que estar bien articulados para intentar minimizar la carga administrativa. El compromiso de todas las instituciones existe. Yo creo que la Comisión ha entendido en los últimos 2 o 3 años que hay que llegar a un equilibrio mejor entre la reglamentación ecológica y de biodiversidad, entre la reglamentación de cambio climático y, por supuesto, de intentar solucionar los problemas que el cambio climático nos presenta, y también la prosperidad económica. El entendimiento está ahí. Llegar al punto mejor, al punto óptimo, digamos, entre la carga administrativa, digamos, los reglamentos, la regulación que hay que respetar para tener una vida en común que sea próspera y que sea respetuosa, digamos, y al mismo tiempo que esté bien regulada y al mismo tiempo que cree la prosperidad necesaria, no es fácil y nos pertenece a todos. Pero todos nosotros tenemos que contribuir a ello. La Comisión está a la escucha, así que está también ejecutando, ya sabe usted, planes de acción de disminución de la carga administrativa, de simplificación, de desburocratización. Todos estos elementos están ya en acción. Yo he vivido este ejercicio también hace 12 años, exactamente ese mismo ejercicio de simplificación administrativa. No creo que tuviese mucho éxito. Creo que ahora podríamos llegar a otro punto más exitoso en su implementación. Lo que pasa es que necesitamos realmente no solo, efectivamente, que usted dice, decir, pedir y criticar, sino también hace falta contribuir trabajar de manera conjunta. Yo le puedo, si quiere, ofrecer puntos de contacto, le puedo ofrecer sitios web donde puedo encontrar la información, podemos tener discusiones, podemos ir a Murcia, podemos discutir con ustedes sin ningún problema, con mucho gusto, para intentar llegar un poco a lo concreto y para llegar un poco a cómo de manera muy específica y concreta les podemos ayudar en sus demandas. Muchas gracias.